Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Secretaries, all of you, thank you. It is a terribly difficult time to govern, and we're grateful for your service and your work. I'm afraid I must pick up on the transportation conversation. And specifically, I want to talk about microtransit. I agree that the governor has done an able job splitting this between education and transportation, as the voters wished. And Secretary Gorkowitz, I also agree that we have to look at H55, the bill before us, you know, as a sister to H1, right? So that we see the fair share money across both bills. I think that's very important. If my math is correct, as we look at H1 and next to H55, 79% of the spending is going to the MBTA, 8% is going to the RTAs. So I'm just going to pull those two out now and look at them with you. So I think about my own FRTA in Franklin County. Secretary Tibbits-Nutt knows this very well. You have been there, Secretary, and you've talked to the people. So right now, 9 communities in Franklin County have no service whatsoever. Double that have no fixed route service. You know, I think that it's hard, we'd be hard pressed in eastern Massachusetts to see a community not served by an RTA, right? Yet in rural communities, we still have no buses running. And now I understand, right, Leiden, a community of 700, it's hard to send a big bus up into the hills of Leiden, but we can send a zippy little microtransit bus, right? And we have in Franklin County piloted on-demand service to very great ends. But when I look at line 1596-2506, the microtransit 10 million, I see it's a grant program, right? So not guaranteed to the RTAs. And you know as well as I do that small RTAs with fewer staff are less competitive in being able to carve out the grant, the time to write the grants. And I wonder if you could react to an idea, say, to not make it a grant program, but make it a direct authorization. And perhaps what you would say if we said, can we carve out a bit more there so that the governor could say in this supplemental that, in fact, every community in the Commonwealth has some sort of RTA service. Again, with this as it is, I think I can't go home and say this, that we have a commitment through fair share dollars, which our voters in Western Massachusetts campaigned hard for. I just don't think it's super fair currently, right? And I guess I'll say the last thing, which is in Western Massachusetts, we're aware that we pay a penny of our sales tax for the MBTA, and most of my people will never ride it. And we understand the whole Commonwealth argument, right, that we need a whole Commonwealth to do well. I just want to say that we understand that in Western Massachusetts. I want us to see that on the other side, that when Franklin County can develop and we all can rise in Franklin County, the whole Commonwealth will do well. Thank you for considering this, and I'd be pleased for your reaction.
And that's why we want to be having this conversation over the next fiscal year, because I think it's not only about these grant programs, it is also how are we better partners around technical assistance to the regional transit authorities, but we want to have this conversation about the grant programs and about the current funding and how we structure it.
But Secretary, if we wait a year, we will be yet one more year behind with no service in these towns that are declining population at a pretty significant rate. So I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.